got another fun unboxing, because anytime I am involved in the design process of something and I get to go over all the little details, how the concept started, where we ended up, because a lot of times people see a finished product, not even just solely ours, but like every finished product, and they're like, that's dumb. That took 5 minutes. That looks so basic and simple. I could do that. And I'm like, that's the point, you know, with, at least for me, with product design, because I like really like simple and clean lines and like ergonomic, and to make something perform well but be really simple is like the pinnacle of design. You know, there's plenty of quotes out there. I think there's like 3 different quotes saying like, to make something simple is hard, and to make something complex is easy. There's 15 different ways of that quote. And so it's just fun to kind of walk through the whole process, how I chose things, how like each little pivot in the in the timeline helps inform the final decisions. I don't know. It's just fun. I like geeking out about it, because if you didn't know, you should know by this point, because we've made big old stink about our camera harness being in twisters. But the very first product that we made for camera gear was the harness, you know, because this was what we launched on Kickstarter in like 2018, raised $500,000 on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, because nobody made a really good, functional, ergonomic, and comfortable camera strap that didn't just immediately pull all your hair out, that wasn't just 2 belts, it's actually ergonomic, flows with your body. Well, we just dove straight to the deep end. We didn't even like make a neck strap until last year, which is when we released our first neck strap after like 5 or 6 years of being like one of the #1 camera accessories in the world. Finally released the Lasso link, and I love this thing. This is like one of my more proud designs, because it's not like we invented linking leather together, but I think we did a really unique version of it, because, you know, I kind of modeled it after the articulation of the spine, you know. When it rounds over, you can see it makes like a nice smooth circle, so it's not pointy on your neck, it doesn't grab your hair. It's adjustable, because all you have to do is add another link or remove a link to lengthen it. There's no stitching, there's no rivets, it's all mechanically held together, because they all just loop together, and then this last buckle is really what puts it all together. And yeah, I love it. It's pretty cool. It's fun. It's pretty popular. We sell a good amount of them, but it's far from simple. You know, and like I mentioned, like some of my favorite design aspects is trying to make it as simple and a clean aesthetic as possible. And not that this didn't accomplish that, but you know, it's just a completely different approach to a neck strap. This is far from simple. And so I was like, I want to make a simple neck strap, because sometimes I've got my like little Fuji that I love this little camera. It's so fun. It's the X100V. It pre-edits your photos. You can set like presets in it, and it makes it really easy, because I never edit photos, even though I have the intention to. But like, I like carrying these little cameras, and you can still use it with like the big Lone Bandit to carry one camera. It's going to be more comfortable because it's not around your neck, it's over your shoulder. You can hook it to your belt. But I just wanted a really simple, clean neck strap that I could throw on a little film camera or a little point and shoot, or you know, any of these little cameras. And so like, how do we do that without being like every other strap on the market? Because you probably owned a neck strap, and you probably own the one that comes with your camera that you bought, because they all basically look like this. It's just a simple little nylon strap. They sew it together to give you a little slide buckle and a triangle ring. And it works. You know, it is technically a neck strap, and it's really simple, and but it's about as cheap of a product as you can make. And that's kind of how the whole industry is with neck straps. You know, most of them are, even some of the really high-end camera gear makers make a really, really cheap, but really, really cheap neck strap. You know, they just sacrifice their quality to make a cheaper product. Just because it's simple, they're like, oh, no one's going to notice that we use inferior materials, like just a simple nylon strap. And so I was like, okay, well, I want to do it a little bit different. I want to keep all the heritage and DNA that we've baked into all of our products with the super thick leather, the belt thickness, super thick leather, belt thickness leather, the Seidel leather that's known for being some of the best and most durable leather in the entire world. That's tanned here in the U.S. That's why all the Pacific Northwest boots use Seidel leather. I think even Danner and a lot of these other companies use Seidel. And we use techniques similar to saddle making techniques. You know, we use the saddle stitch instead of a sewing machine. We hand sew all of our wallets. So it's like, well, how do we maintain that DNA and bake it into a neck strap? And so that's what I want to kind of show you, is how we started with the concept and walked all the way down the road of product design to finished product drive. And so when it came to the first concepts, you know, it was really, really simple. I was like, I just want a really simple neck strap. That's it. You know, so I just started riveting together some 3/8 inch straps, you know, tried some different lengths, tried a few different things. But the problem with this is they're so simple. You know, it's easy to make, but it doesn't have a lot of design value. It's just a strap rolled over and riveted together. So it works, but it's just not, it doesn't have that aesthetic to it. Because anytime you're designing stuff, you're always balancing form and function. And this was just all function. And so I was like, yeah, it doesn't excite me. You know, it's really simple, but not in a good way. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board and make something a little bit different than this, just because, I don't know, it just doesn't excite me. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe rivets aren't the way to go. Maybe we like keep some of our well-known design and just like construction techniques, like I just talked about, like our saddle stitching. So this version, pretty simple, altercation, what do you call it? Modification? Alteration, that's what I was looking for. The alteration was just sewing it together with a hand-sewn saddle stitching technique. You know, nothing crazy. But once again, it still was just so simple that it just didn't excite me. I was like, it looks cheap because of how simple it is. And so that's the other aspect of trying to design simple things, is like, it can look too cheap. It can look too simple. And even though like I just got done saying like that's the goal, is make it really simple. Like the other side of that goal is make it simple but make it look good. And these still looked good. It just didn't really excite me in any way. And I was like, if we're gonna spend the time to hand sew these, we might as well make it look really, really good and really like clean and classy. So, you know, tried to start prototyping the little neck strap here. And right now, in the design, it's still 3/8 inch strap, which I like with this belt thickness leather. Like this is like, let's see how thick it is. It's the same stuff we use in our harnesses and our belts. And it's, you know, it's like 9 or 10 millimeters thick, or sorry, 9 or 10 ounces, which is 3.5 to 4 millimeters thick. So I wasn't really stressed about the width of it, but we'll kind of go over a little bit why we ended up changing it, because yeah, it looks good. I don't mind it, but just once again, just too simple. So then I was thinking, you know, if just folding it over like this seems a little bit too simple, a little bit too cheap feeling and looking, what if we had a separate piece and we rolled it over? And so that's what these group of prototypes are, is trying to add some visual value, also keeping in mind that like if we do have this attachment piece as a separate piece, we can make a die for it to make like 1,000 of these really, really quick and really fast. Fast and quick, same thing. I meant efficient. And it also allows to be more universal. We could start adding it to our, we could add it to the wrist straps. We could add it to the third camera strap. There's another purpose for it that's actually pretty cool. I'll show you when we actually get to the more finished products. So I was like, I think that would work. You know, then we can adjust the lengths however we want, because the final version has, we sell 2 lengths of it, 35 inches and 45 inches. It allows to make those adjustments easier. And I like the look of it. You know, I like that look of having that intentional second piece. It just looks better to me. And you can see we started playing with some different hardware. You know, initially I was like, maybe we just do tri rings, you know, because I'm trying to make it affordable. But I was like, man, I hate putting those stupid little tri rings on the side, and I want this to be easy to take off and easy to put on and be able to be more universal. And so that's when we started playing with different clasps. So, you know, we've got these clasps. We've got these guys. We've got these guys. And we got, well, you can't really see in this prototype, but the claw ones. And you can see this is actually this is something that's really interesting. So see how we've got a little camera protector around that? This is the same piece that we send with the Lasso links that protects your camera, but it works in a completely different way. But for some reason, it just perfectly lined up so that it kind of protects your camera from the hardware, and it perfectly lines up so you can still use the clasp and it still protects it. It's like, it ended up being kind of like shocking when me and Taylor were like putting this together. We're like, oh my gosh, that works. It fits, and it actually works. And so, yeah, this is the clasp I ended up liking the most. And so I was like, okay, that looks good. I like it. The extra little piece added here makes it a little bit too bulky and a little bit not the style I'm looking for with this, but I like the clasp. And it was at this point where I was like, and also like, it might be a little too skinny. You know, 3/8 inch is plenty thick and it lasts just as long as a thicker strap, but I almost like the thicker aesthetic. And just even from the consumer's perspective of like visually trusting a little bit thicker strap more than this. And I just thought it might be a cool way to add some additional feature or some additional detail to it. So in the next versions, so then we decided to go with a 1/2 inch strap. And then we did a 1/2 inch strap loop. So initially we widened this to 1/2 inch as well. And so it was like 1/2 inch strap, 1/2 inch loop. I don't even know what to call that. But I didn't like the look of it. It was a little bit too chunky. You know, I didn't like how it was just like 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch. I wanted it to taper down or wanted it to be thinner. And so that's when we started playing with different shapes to take the 1/2 inch strap. That's not it. Well, technically, it's hard to remember every single step. The first time I tried to go a little bit thicker was with a 3/8 inch strap because I really like these hardware, but it has a 1/2 inch opening. And I was like, well, maybe that's what I'll do. Maybe I'll just move it to 1/2 inch total, or maybe I'll just have the little attachment strap here bell out to 1/2 inch. And so we did it, and you can see it looks pretty good. I just felt like it was too thin. You know, I liked the whole concept, and so that's when we moved to tapering it down. And so this initially started off with it wide all the way across, but then I just took a knife and like hand cut it down to try to get it to give you that tapered look. You can see there's slightly different and like different stitch densities. And the only problem with this piece of hardware is it doesn't pivot. It doesn't spin like the other ones. So even though I like this one, and we almost went with it, we ended up going with a different piece of hardware. But yeah, I like this like tapering down look a lot more. It fits a lot more into the aesthetic of the entire product line. You know, because we've got this ergonomic tapering across the board. You know, with the strap, how it kind of tapers down to a point. You know, it kind of follows that same aesthetic, and how like there's always like a little bit of gap where the two straps come together. It just fits, and it fits with the hand sewing look of all of our wallets. So I really liked it. I was like, okay, this is it. We found it. 1/2 inch strap, 3/8 inch sewing attachment strap that bells out to a 1/2 inch again. And so then we just made a bunch of prototypes with various like shapes, just to make sure that it was actually what we wanted to do. And then I was like, I like it. I think we're there. Now we just need to refine the actual, fine tune the little touches that take it from that looks like a mostly finished product to like, dang, that is it. That's the product. We nailed it. And that's one of my favorite parts of the whole process. And some people hate it. And you know, Taylor's very patient with me because you'll see actually how many little teeny prototypes we do even in the last few steps. Because look in this box. This is all the different shapes of just this little connector part. Let's get them kind of organized so you get an idea. So you can see there's like flat tops, round tops with the fewer stitching. There's like a pointy top, another pointy top, short again, short or long with the flat top, long with the pointy top. You know, just did like 20 different variations of this until we isolated a few. I was like, yeah, I like the look of those. Those look pretty good, you know? And so then we took those samples and sewed them onto an actual strap so we could see what they look like. And this is where most brands, I don't feel like they go this far. I feel like even for as small of a brand as we are, and as small of an operation of like 12 people, we take prototyping about as serious as I've ever seen anybody. And that's because it's fun and it works, and it takes your initial concept and really refines it to what you actually are intending to make. And so you can see you know, pretty, even though they're like almost identical, there's enough difference that it's, for me, it's worth like figuring out exactly what we want. And so that's when we're like, okay, I like the sweeping, more gradual lines rather than the sharp ones. I like the sweep top. So I like this one, round top, a little more gradual corners, and I like the 1/2-inch strap. I wanted to change the hardware from this one, and so that's where we ended up. Oh, that's only a part of it, right? So that's how we prototyped the connector pieces there. We also did about as much prototyping with even just down to the little camera protectors that go on the side of the camera. You see we got a bunch of random shapes. This is the initial time we figured out that little camera protector actually works by going around the little clasp there. And we tried some pointy ones, some round, and I just ended up once again going back to simplicity, and we ended up doing something like this where it's just a round washer with a slit in it that fits perfectly over the little tri-ring that we send with these, with all of our camera stuff. So you can just have it connect to just the point, or you can put the whole tri-ring through like that. And we also prototype the, ow, I got a big cut on my finger. I'll show you why here in a sec. This is all the neck strap. Even like when I prototype, sometimes I just want to rapid prototype. I'm not even looking for the aesthetic. I'm just looking for function. So when I prototype, I go fast and I just make it really like almost dumb. You know, you can't really see this very well. You know, it's just like, it looks like a child made them. But then you slowly, gradually, and incrementally improve it. Try some new concepts, try some new shapes, you know, because we always try to like make our shapes match. So I was trying like some like bone shapes similar to the Lasso link. And then we ended up just liking this shape. You know, works with the flow of the harnesses, works with the aesthetic lines. And so then we just kept refining it, refining it, until we got it to where we like it. And so then that was like the last final prototype. We like cut them out in the laser, double checked everything, sewed a few together, make sure everything was like dialed. And then that's when we submit the dies. And we're like, okay, I think we're ready. Let's get the dies ordered. And so we ordered the dies from Milwaukee Steel Rule Die. We've been working with them basically since day one. And they're really good at making dies for leatherworking. And they've been really, really good. So then we ended up with the laser cut final prototype. You know, just double checking everything, make sure it's all gonna work. Made a few last minute adjustments just to add one more little hole there and add a little height to the tip there. So then we got finally to the final version. Now, let's do a little unboxing. Foot knife, the Kershaw live wire by Blade HQ that caused damage to my skin because I was on a call with Muck Boots. And I'm like, did you get the boots we sent you? And I was like, I didn't even see them coming to the shop. They're like, well, they were delivered. I was like, oh crap. So I was like rushing around during the call trying to find the box, found the box, brought it in, grabbed this knife, flicked it out, cut it open, and flicked it back in. But right when I was flicking it back in, my finger was just right there. Just barely. And when I zipped that thing back in, it goes, slit my little finger open. Now I got a big old skin flap that I had to super glue flat. And if you've never experienced super gluing a wound with accelerant to make it cure faster, you haven't experienced pain. But anyway, let's unbox. I didn't even tell you what this is. I didn't even like position it. Did I tell you anything about it? So what do we even call this product? The Slim neck strap. You know, Slim's kind of a fun, like Western-y nickname. We also have a wallet called Slim. It's just like a fun way to like say like this is the slimmest or most simplified, minimalistic way of doing this particular thing. It's a nice little indicator, calling them Slim. And like the whole goal with this, yeah, basically taking that concept of that really simple, minimal neck strap that you get with most cameras that works really good for little film cameras, super lightweight, it's packable. But the problem is they're all super cheap, use cheap nylon, cheap materials. They always fail, they're ugly. From the moment you start wearing them, they look worse and worse. So I wanted to combine the attributes of that are good, remove all the negative ones, and apply all like the Rose Anvil camera gear DNA into that product by using that really thick belt leather strap, the hand sewing saddle stitching technique, the solid brass hardware, the ergonomic design with the really clean, crisp lines and just the simplicity, that minimalist look to it all, and make it something that you can actually rely on because it does have all those materials, it does have those techniques. And it's a tough project because that's the hardest thing, is trying to make something really clean and discreet and small, but still unique, still different than the rest of the market, still something you can only buy from us. And that's the fun of it too. So now let's open it up, because I just packaged this up myself for me. So it doesn't even have all the packaging in it, but we all enjoy a nice unboxing. And not cut my finger. Here we go. Small bag first, because I forgot to talk about this. All while during the design process, I also designed a little wrist strap to go with it. Because like I mentioned, it's such a little universal attachment piece that you can still sew it onto a 3/8 strap, which is perfect for a little wrist strap. Because you're not actually like really relying on this for holding your camera. You're mostly using this because you just want some redundant protection. Like if you've got like a nice little camera like this and you don't want a big strap or a harness, but you want to make sure you don't drop it over the edge of the lighthouse or whatever, you just take your little wrist strap and see how it twists down here so you don't ever have any hard edges. It pretty well contours to your body. It slides down so you can take it off really easily, put it on really easily. And then obviously we send it with that tri-ring. Take your little button washer here, a little camera protector, slide that over the triangle ring. Well, you can pull it through all the way, or you can just kind of leave it like halfway out, however you want to do it. You just take your little clasp it on there, just like that. So you got this. Oh no, oh no, not my camera, not off the top of the lighthouse. And your camera is safe. And it's cool because it matches the whole like aesthetic of the neck strap. You still have the hand sewn bits here and through here, the same hardware, same camera protectors, but you get a different look because it tapers down to 3/8 inch rather than 1/2 inch. And so yeah, that's that. So now let's look at the other half of the unboxing, the neck strap. Look at that, gorgeous. Just like a horse's, in the words of Action Bronson. But look at that. See the little end bits, how clean those look? So yeah, you get this really cool effect of like, it's the same hardware, but on the wrist strap, it has a completely different aesthetic than the neck strap, even though they use the exact same pieces. And they're still close enough that they look like they're a cohesive part of the line of products. And I just love the way they look, you know, and even with the little neck piece, it's removable. If you want to remove this, all you do is, it's going to be kind of a pain to remove, so it's not that removable. I don't want to scratch it all up because it's like a photo version one. But yeah, it's removable. You can remove this neck strap. Literally all you do is you just pull this through. Kind of have to squeeze the leather through, open it up to get it out. Those look good. I think they look so clean. You know, I'm always tempted to add more detail, add more aesthetic, add more function, but this one is just like, we gotta keep it simple. Simple, like 3 or 4 pieces, keep the quality high, keep the construction techniques high, the materials are sourced from the same stuff that we get from our like super expensive high-end camera harnesses, but applied to a little neck strap. I think they look really nice. I'm really, really happy with them. So these are available now, and you've got till basically the end of the day to use a $10 off discount code. So get your order in, give us a couple weeks to make these, because anytime we launch a new product, we're always working out the kinks, because as much as we'd like to make 1,000 of these in preparation, we just don't have that big of enough of a company to afford to do that and have the labor to do that. And so it's a pre-order to some degree, because we got all the dies, we have all the materials, but when you order it is when we start making them. And depending on how many we actually sell, it could take 1 to 2 weeks, 3 weeks at the top, at the max, but I think we can get them out to you within a couple weeks. And so the sooner you order, the sooner you'll get your product, because we just do them in the order we get them. And if you use that code, save yourself $10, but that code only lasts until midnight. So make sure you get your order in and get one of each. why not? The discount code only works for the neck strap though. So if you want the wrist strap, you might as well get a neck strap. You might as well get the whole bundle pack. So thank you guys for watching this, and thank you guys for supporting these kind of videos, because it's just fun for me just to document the process of how we design things and just show you like the highlights of how we change things. It's fun for me to have documentation of it and be able to appreciate the hard work that we're doing here by just retroactively going like, wow, we did actually make a lot of changes. And this started off all the way at the first of the year like this, and ended up at the end of the year a lot cleaner, a lot safer, a lot better across the board. It's so fun to do, and I think people like it. I think it's fun. At least I do. Like, I like when people are like, hey, I designed this product. Let me show you how we designed it and why we designed it and how we added in certain features and how they all work. So if you do like this, let me know. Support this video, give it a like, give it a subscribe, do all the things. Buy one of these if you want, because this is some of my most favorite things to do, is talk about design, but especially design that I was involved in. Thanks for watching, and check them out below. Get that $10 off, and thank you guys for everything you do. See ya.